Okay, stand by, waiting to go here, and making certain that we are all on where we should be here, having to get things going. It is Tuesday morning for those of you who are just joining us, and yes, we are going on, and here we are, okay? I am Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. It is just past 11 a.m. Tuesday, the 1st of August. Welcome to a new month, and as we go into August, conditions are going to be very much on the different side, hoping that this forecast pans out by just a little bit. We're looking at the potential of some not so hot weather back into heat as we go toward the weekend, and then dropping back again as we go into around the second week of August. Now that really holds true, and that pans out according to what we're going to be seeing in the semi-near future, means that August, which can typically be one of the most absolute scorching times of the year, may start off not being quite all that hot. And believe you me, I have absolutely no problem with that, as we don't have usually that often, we can't really tell people about that often when it comes to temperatures that are going to be that a little bit below normal for this time of the year. I mean, that is just really absolutely incredible. For those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, you might be tuning in on our Twitch channel, and welcome if you are. This is your opportunity to ask questions about the forecast. We cover the areas right now. This is News 12 in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we cover the areas of southeast Tennessee, North Georgia, extreme western North Carolina, and 2 counties in DeKalb and Jackson in northeastern Alabama. So if you're in those areas and checking out the forecast, welcome to Facebook Live or Twitch. If not, if you're from parts unknown, say hi in the comments section, and we'll read off the information there. And coming up, we'll do our usual of keeping track of what's going on with the weather around the area. We'll take a look at the almanac page. We'll take a look at our picture of the day. We'll also take a look and see what our extended forecast looks like. If we have time, we'll take a look at the tropics and see what's going on there, which is not exactly all that much. A couple storms out in the Atlantic to take a look at, but beyond that, there's really not that much at this point. And we'll take a look at some astronomical stuff coming our way as we get into the end of the week. A star party from a local astronomical group. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But either way, it is Tuesday, August 1st, so let's go ahead and get into everything here. Let's take a look at the almanac page for yesterday. As of midnight, we checked in with a high temperature of the day of 93 degrees, just a little bit above normal for the day. Low temperature of 71, so not doing too bad there. And we see again the potential for some hot conditions into the weekend. Again, came within 6 degrees of a record high temperature last set back in 1999. And when you're in summertime and you have you're in summertime when you have record low temperatures like this, back into the mid 50s. That as absolute all-time cold as it has gotten in this area. So that is something that we have in and around the area to take a look at, that really just signifies what we are doing when it comes to temperatures for this time of the year. Nothing in the way of rain yesterday, so we are now behind for the year by about 1 1/3 inches and closing in on 2.5 inches behind for the entire year. We'll probably make up some of that rainfall in the course of the next several days. We'll talk about the extended forecast here coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. Heading out to catch a fish. It is going to be a poor day for doing so, according to the website. Some of that, I would guess, is due to the just past full moon being up there and not really helping out with too much. Otherwise, hot conditions, winds out of the northeast, and the humidity is going to be the big thing for right now. So whatever you've got going on outdoors, including hitting the ball around the course, mostly sunny and hot conditions. Winds will be out of the northeast and will hopefully be enough to kind of stir the air around for a little while, but beyond that, we're just not looking at too much for now. Few clouds popping up into the distance, well back over into and around above Signal Mountain off there on the horizon from the EPB fiber optics weather cam network. And traffic not doing too bad for this time of the day for the 2475 interstate split. From downtown looking off to the east, beautiful sunrise earlier this morning. No clouds being seen in this particular direction. We'll turn that around and see if we see anything off that way from the News 12 studios. Also looking pretty quiet, looking to the east-southeast from 3300 Broad Street in and around the area where I happen to currently be sitting in Chattanooga. Island Cove Marina and Resort, somebody's got the big boat out for a spin, heading away from the Tennessee Highway 58 and Hunter Road interchange and going across the waters. So nice to be able to see people out and about for just a little bit. And one more view from around the area of Lee Point. This was where sunrise was a few hours ago, but as of right now, just a little bit of haze and mainly blue skies out there. We do have some pretty mild temperatures across the area, and humidity levels are not doing too bad either because of the fact that we were just in the overnight hours, and when you get that cool conditions out there, semi-cool at least, the humidity goes up, allowing for all that moisture to kind of hang around the lower portions of the atmosphere. But right now we're going to be looking at some fairly dry conditions today and tomorrow, which is going to make it warm, call it hot again as you head outdoors for today and tomorrow, but at least we're not going to be seeing the overly sultry weather in the next couple of days, so good news there. So the humidity levels will be on their way down, and those north and northeasterly winds keeping things decently on the mild side for right now. We don't have anything showing up in the way of rainfall. Clean sweep on Titan radar at just past 11 o'clock Eastern. Back to the north of us, we do have a decent amount of clouds and thunderstorms taking place over Missouri and now heading into portions of Arkansas. We're not going to be seeing any problems off of this. Some of these clouds might drift over the area. They're already into portions of Middle Tennessee, but we might actually see, again, the potential for some more showers and thunderstorms like this in the next couple of days. We'll take a look at the forecast coming up here in just a little while, but otherwise nothing in the way of rainfall coming on through anytime soon. The good news at this point, we have had a few areas of smoke, and that's why you see the light blue colors out there. The heavier wildfire smoke from the mid-south back down into the deep south area, and this light blue indicates again some minor amounts of haze, more clearing skies back to the north of us into around the Ohio River Valley and back into parts of the Virginias. That is the current condition. Now if we take that a little farther into the future and do an actual forecast model for those areas of smoke coming in, there's a couple of areas to take a look at. Number one is over the area around Idaho and Montana, to where we see some of that smoke drifting its way over to the east and to the south, but not directly heading for the News 12 viewing area. We also have, and it's hard to believe how many fires are going in Canada right now, dozens and dozens of them across the country, and some of that smoke is making its way downwards. The thicker stuff has landed or will be landing later on this week and into around portions of the rest of the day tomorrow and into around early Thursday, heading for the tri-state area, around the area of D.C. and the Great Lakes. So we're not going to be seeing too much of this area of smoke coming on through here, but we still have a long way to go in fire season. According to one article I saw, speaking to the Canadian fire officials up that direction, they're saying that the only thing that's going to be able to cure this fire season is going to be the arrival of wintertime and those blanketing snows that'll quash a lot of the fires out there. But for now, we're going to see possibly weeks more of smoke coming off of these wildfires, and that's not good news at this point in time for the atmosphere or anybody who has lung or heart ailments out there for right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the maps and show you what we've got going on. We do have, again, a system well off to our west. That is not doing too much. It's kind of wandering on through here. It doesn't have a lot of punch to it. It's not moving very quickly, thanks in part to high pressure over the Great Lakes, which is kind of holding this up. But this is also bringing in some much drier air and pushing the warm, moist air down across the Gulf and into the East Coast states. That is why it is feeling so much nicer out there today than what it has been over the last few weeks. With that dry air, it makes it much easier to sweat and to cool yourself off. This is going to be sticking around for a day or two, but we've got warm air on its way back from the desert southwest, and this is going to be moving into our area, so we've got hotter conditions coming our direction there. That is going to be giving us, again, the potential for some more areas of thunderstorms coming up for an extended period of time, and also the temperatures going back upwards again before we settle back down a bit. Again, according to the semi-long-range models, we could be seeing a bit of a warm-up, but then dropping the numbers once again. Comments section finally lighting up here, getting this in. Reggie Mullinak's weather for Thursday. Stay tuned. We'll take a look at that coming up here in just a little bit. Right now, we don't have any other major systems coming our way. Again, for right now, high pressure doing the clearing out for the time being. Keeping that warm, moist air down to the Gulf Coast states. Some of that is going to sneak back up with this storm system. That's where the fuel for these thunderstorms over Kansas and Missouri have been coming from. So we'll get rid of some of that as it passes through, but then we'll see better potential of showers and thunderstorms into the next couple of days. All right, running the numbers through the rest of the afternoon into this evening. High temperatures, again, basically normal for this time of the year. Lower 90s, some cloud cover, more cloud cover back off to the west of us where those dying thunderstorms, the thunderstorms out that direction, they launch upwards in the atmosphere, and the winds tear those cloud tops off, and then that's what we see coming through here is those remnants of clouds going on through the area. Some showers to the east of us. As those die off, the same thing, the winds shear the clouds off, and some of those clouds wander into our region as we get into very early on Wednesday, so probably not too clear of a sunrise tomorrow morning. We see again those thunderstorms reform back to the west of us into western Tennessee, Kentucky, southern Illinois, and as those get closer to us, they move into more stable air, so they just basically kind of fall apart. So by tomorrow afternoon, with the clouds and the rain potential out there starting off, we see less in the way of heat. High temperatures should be in the upper 80s, and that should just about do it for the potential of heat there. Now, by early Thursday morning, that is a much different story on the forecast. That's where we see more chances of showers and thunderstorms coming through back to the north and west of this. Let me just run this forward frame by frame. So by mid-morning Thursday, this system kind of barrels on through right before about lunchtime, and that's where we see both the temperatures drop a little bit, clouds and the rainfall accompanying that. That's going to block out a pretty good section of the sun, so it won't be quite as hot on Thursday. Matter of fact, some temperatures may not even break the mid-80s depending on what happens. But the only thing I'm really concerned about right now is if this system gets up enough of a head of steam and blows on through here, pushing the winds ahead of it. Notice this kind of arc-shaped area right in here. I don't think we're looking at a derecho storm, but we could be looking at maybe some gusty winds out across portions of the area. So that is something that really needs to be watched, and that's something that we will be paying attention to over the course of the next several days. So for right now, it does not look in the way of major problems. We are going to have to keep our eyes on this. There is no indication of anything involving severe weather anytime soon, but it is possible that we could see some minor areas of storms becoming a little bit more gusty with winds out there that could be a bit of a problem. That heads on through by lunchtime and into Thursday afternoon. Temperatures will remain very mild in the 70s, maybe recovering to the 80s as we get into Thursday afternoon and evening, and overnight into very early on Friday morning. Some more thunderstorms possible down to our south. Temperatures on the mild side, so otherwise not seeing, again, a great deal of major concern from this. But at this time of the year, we do need to watch for the potential, at least, of severe weather coming on through. All right, running the 7-day out and showing the numbers for today and tomorrow. Pretty typical all the way on through where we should be on temperatures. Lower 90s, that is very perfectly spot on numbers basically maybe a degree or two cooler, but that's going to be about it. Showers and thunderstorms show up on Thursday, so temperatures a little bit on the less hot side here. And then for Friday, we see temperatures start to kind of stair step upwards a little bit as that warm air comes in from across the desert southwest. We might be back in the lower to mid 90s by around Sunday of this next weekend. So for the first weekend of August, numbers will be heading back up to just above normal, but that's about as hot as it gets. Now, we don't have it on this one right now, and we have to would show you everything about the Climate Prediction Center's forecast here in just a little bit. It will be warm. There's no question about that. Maybe just a bit above normal, but it looks like for the second week, going into the second week of August, past this forecast that you see on this screen, there's a good indication that we'll be seeing some moderate temperatures out there, not seeing anything in the way of blasting out heat, which at this time of the year, that is more than possible. But this time around, it just doesn't seem to be really happening at this point. We do have that potential of seeing, again, a decent amount of heat coming on through portions of the area through about next week. See if the data can catch up with this here in just a second. What we've got, hopefully, you have to excuse me, large files sometimes take a little bit to process to get going. Either way, the idea is into the next couple of days we're going to be seeing that potential for, well, I guess we are not going to have that, so sorry about that. We'll have to get back to that here coming up a little bit later. But what we do have is, again, the medium range forecast models showing for right now the hottest of the hot temperatures, Florida, the Gulf Coast, and back into the Rio Grande Valley and back toward the desert southwest. That'll be the worst of the worst temperatures. That colder air dropping in out of Canada from the northwest, it's going to, again, help to kind of moderate things a little bit where we are. Now, yesterday's forecast had us in the barely just above normal temperatures. So with that temperature swing upwards as we go toward the weekend, that's where we see the numbers kind of increase a little bit. But according to what I saw, in the other models, we've got the potential of next week not being all that bad, and I hope it that trend continues. If it doesn't, we could see a sharp turnaround on this, but for right now, it looks like our heat is turned down, if not all the way off. That's just fine by me. Again, for August, that really doesn't seem to be too much of a concern for the time being, but for right now, things are looking a lot better, and hopefully they stay that way. So again, keep it tuned to News 12 for more on the forecasts out there. Couple of bit of the colder temperatures out there to give you a little bit of a shiver, hopefully, and cool you off a little bit. From the fourth rock from the sun, this report just about 48 hours old, from the Perseverance rover around Mars' northern hemisphere in Jezero crater on Sol 868, a high temperature, exactly 0 Fahrenheit. Again, that doesn't actually mean anything whatsoever. It's just a arbitrary number that Mr. Fahrenheit came up with, so it doesn't mean freezing or anything else specifically on the temperature scale. But the low temperature was 105 degrees colder at 105 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. More information about weather on Mars from Perseverance and the Curiosity rovers. Need to be able to get almost daily weather updates from those rovers. You can go to mars.nasa.gov. You can go to NSF, National Science Foundation.gov, for updates from the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station and also from the area around McMurdo Station over on the coastline. Not doing too bad right now. I believe this is condition 1, where it's not that windy and visibility is not that bad. It could be close to condition 2. Condition 3 in Antarctica is the whiteout blizzard. Don't go outside, because if you do, you get lost, you're dead type forecast. This right here, basically condition 1, but visibility is a little low, so that could be close to condition 2. Winds were about maybe 19 knots earlier on, and temperatures earlier today minus 77. That was the air. Remember, it's wintertime down there, so that's why we have the more powerful cold temperatures. And with those winds howling around the area, we can get, again, some pretty severe wind chills, and that's about as severe as you can get on this planet, minus 124. If you'd like to look up this information, go to NSF, that's National Science Foundation.gov, and you can pick up a lot more information about what's going on there and maybe give you just a bit of a chill. Coming up this Saturday, the 5th of August, and this is, again, want to reiterate those two little words which can cause a lot of problems, weather permitting. The Barnard Astronomical Society will be holding their Cloudland Canyon Star Party. They bring a bunch of telescopes for everyone to look through so they can get a little bit of a taste of astronomy and how cool astronomy is. If you'd like to know more about this, you can go to their Facebook page, facebook.com/BarnardAstro, or you can go to their main website at barnardastronomy.org. The party will be held this week. The viewing party through the telescopes will be held in Rising Fawn, Georgia at, again, Cloudland Canyon State Park, and that'll be in Georgia at 30738 if you'd like to put that into your GPS and take a look. Hopefully, again, it looks kind of partly cloudy, so we'll see if they go ahead with this, and if they decide to do so, we'll post it on social media as soon as we are able to hear from them. The last star party in July was basically rained out, and unfortunately that happens sometimes where the atmosphere doesn't agree with your viewing plans of the heavens. So if you'd like to find out more about astronomy, telescopes, talk to some of the experts in the field around the area here, if you'd like to introduce your kids to the cool hobby of astronomy and the science of astronomy, this is where you want to be, coming up this Saturday from 7 to 11 p.m., getting the telescopes out there, and a good opportunity to practice some really cool science. A good reminder to always keep looking up, finding out more about astronomy. Really cool to be finding out there. In the next couple of days, about a week from now, is the peak of one of the biggest meteor showers of the year, the Perseids, so named because they come out of they seem to come out of the constellation of Perseus the hero. Now, this, again, it looks very good for this year. Sometimes you can have meteor storms of over 100 meteors per hour. That's about 1.5 meteors every minute or so. So that's kind of neat to be able to see that and go out and take a look for that coming up. There's two other minor meteor showers going on right now, the Alpha Capricornids and the Southern Delta Aquarids, if I'm not mistaken on that. Minor showers for right now, but this is an excellent time of the year as Earth plows its way through the cometary debris left over from the formation of the solar system. It's really cool to be able to see this because, again, shooting stars, meteors slamming into the atmosphere and burning up. Good opportunity to also practice about astronomy there. And again, this meteor shower is already going on. It started on July about 14th, and it goes until September the 1st. But the peak of it, the absolute peak, as the Earth goes through the thickest parts of that meteor debris stream, will be coming up in about a week on August 11th and 12th. By that period of time, the moon will be waning, and it will be a shadow of its former bright self heading toward mid-month. So it's good viewing conditions out there. Find a good place to be. Again, slather up on the bug spray. Get out the lawn chair. Best thing I've always found to do is just get the lawn chair out and go out and park yourself under the stars and just watch instead of standing and craning your neck upwards. It's a lot more comfortable that way. Make certain, again, if it's very much on the warm and muggy side, that you've got some ice water with you out there, and just enjoy viewing one of nature's most spectacular events. And sometimes these meteor showers can be rare treats to be able to see a bunch of meteor/shooting stars, whatever you want to call them on that, although they're not stars, they're meteors. Again, if you'd like to know more about this, there's tons of websites, including the American Meteor Society at amsmeteors.org, if I'm not mistaken, to find out more details about this coming up. Again, that peak is going to be going on next week about this time, but there's nothing to say that we might see some pretty good meteor shower activity, an occasional bright meteor passing on through somewhere early in the morning or late at night. keep an eye out. You might see some of those things wandering around at some point in time. Want to remind the teachers out there that I don't have to remind the teachers that we're coming up on the fall semester, but I do want to put out a request that if any of the teachers would like our weather experts from News 12 to visit your classroom in and around the Tennessee River Valley area, that's great. We'd love to do so. We'd love to talk about science. We'd love to talk about climate change. We'd love to talk about emergency planning for severe weather to get your kids and students and your teachers ready to go for what could be an active season. We don't just show up someplace. We have to have the invitation, and in order for us to be invited, you have to go to the Food City Weather in the Classroom webpage on our website, wdef.com/weather, and then go to Weather in the Classroom. Fill out the contact details, what school you're from, how we can get a hold of you, email or phone, what size your student group is, what grade level your student group is, and any special topics you want us to cover like I just talked about. But here's the thing, we're going to get into the first week of September, and the requests are going to come very, very quickly, so that we're going to have to spread out the chances of us going to a school as much as we possibly can, and we can only visit so many in a day or a week. Add to that, if you wait too long, we may not be able to get to your classroom until spring semester. So if you would like us to come and visit your school, great, we'd be glad to do so, but unfortunately, if you don't get your request in soon, it's going to be a while before we can get to you. So please, if you can, and you know what your schedule is in the next couple of weeks, please let us know as soon as you can, and we'll cross-connect on our calendar and see what days and times are best for us and for you, and we'll get there at some point. So again, please make your request ASAP, because we're going to be getting into that very busy part of the season coming up relatively soon on there. Let's go back real quick. I wanted to check the tropics here and just give you a quick update, even though there's really technically not much of anything going on. We do have two storms of note. The first one over the Canadian Maritimes. This one was over Florida and eventually was about a week or so ago was out toward the Leeward Islands. It moved up toward Florida, hugged the coastline, and then now has launched itself over the jet stream or the Gulf Stream and making its way up to the north and to the east. No chance of development with this. It is going to be an impulse of energy, and then that's it. So this might affect like Iceland, Greenland, depending on its path from here, but this shows no sign of developing into anything major. This one is showing some promise, about 40% in the first couple of days, and then days 2 through 7 through the next week, about a 50% development chance. So it's got the orange moderate color for here for right now, curving up to the east of Bermuda. So for right now, both of these storms appear to be what are nicknamed fish storms. They're not bothering anybody but the fish down in the ocean. So we don't see too much of anything in the way of problems with this. Remember, we're not even halfway through hurricane season at this time, so we need to watch what's coming off of Africa in the next several days, weeks, and months. And again, if you're planning any travel to the Gulf, Florida, the Bahamas, the East Coast, you need to watch the forecast very carefully. So please keep that in mind as we go through this season. If you're planning any travel whatsoever, now's the time to make certain that you're weather aware with these storms that could be a bit of a problem at just about any point in time through the next several months from hurricane season onwards. We've only managed to hit the D storm so far, if I'm not mistaken, so we've got plenty of the rest of the alphabet coming on through here, and we still have the time frame of August, September, and October when it really starts to crank up. So this is, again, very important to take a look at what is going to be coming our direction here. That'll about do it for now. Very quiet conditions, again, across much of the area. We don't have a great deal going on where it comes to major changes for now. We may see those in the next several weeks, but it just doesn't look like it at this point. So for the time being, things are decently quiet, and mercifully so. Getting back to school next week, temperatures down a little bit. That's all great news, so no problems there. And then also seeing, again, hot conditions might lurk out there somewhere, but just nowhere anytime soon. We'll have more on the weather forecast, again, always available at our website, wdef.com/weather. Chip Chapman will be taking over for the evening show tomorrow as I stay on the morning shows. We do sort of a schedule flip-flop for right now, and I'll be on for the morning show for the rest of the week. And then meteorologist Todd Heislip will be in during the weekend to keep you updated, and Chip should be back on the morning show by the time we get into next week. I'm always available. Again, if you can find my page through our website and look me up there, you can send any contact information, questions about weather or anything else around here, go ahead and send them in to me. My email address is just AONEK, Onek, at WDEF.com. You can reach out that way. So again, please let us know a little bit more about if there's anything we can answer any questions for you. That'll wrap it up for Weather Overtime for Tuesday, the 1st of August. Hope you enjoyed the full moon this morning. Looked pretty beautiful out there. I'll have more of the forecast coming up on News at Noon with Kate Blevins anchoring today. And of course, I'll be back with the morning show coming up very early tomorrow morning, bright and early at 5 a.m. Eastern, so stay tuned for more on that. Live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, USA, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek at WDEF News 12. Thanks for joining us for Weather Overtime for Tuesday, and keep up to date with what's going on with weather in the Tennessee River Valley with News 12 at WDEF.com/weather. Thanks for joining us.